Oh geez, Kobe, this is a really large fish. Welcome to episode 1 of Hack Job Fly Tying, where I take my brand new must-add hook collection, which I'm pretty excited about, and attempt to tie my first fly. So I'm using a heavier thread. I really don't know what this is. I mean, it's a thick thread that doesn't break when you put it on the hook. I'm using some purple tinsel rope. I think that's what it's called. Some black foam strips for this particular fly. A new pair of scissors. Thanks, Ryan, because my other scissors were horrible. And some clear head cement. I'm also using this little tool here. This is like a head cement clearing tool when you overdo it. And I'm using my shitty vise from year 2000, which I definitely need an upgrade. And I just bought a magnifying light on Amazon. So that's basically what I'm using. So I decided I'm going to use kind of a streamer hook to start off with here, just because I've got fat fingers, and right now I don't have the skill set to be able to really use anything smaller. So I'm using this bigger hook, and plus I think I want to have kind of a larger gurgler anyway. So I'm going to start by just kind of making a whole bunch of wraps on the hook here, and speed it up here because it's kind of boring. But I think this is the way that, you know, you want to start out with every single fly. And I'm going to start off in the back because that's where I think you start, right? You kind of have to reverse engineer it. So I'm going to put some tinsel because I want kind of a tinsel tail. I'm not really concerned about the mess that it looks there because, you know, I can trim it off. Take some of the purple string, you know, get that started and tied together on the back of the hook as well. And just make sure everything's locked down nice and tight, using a lot of wraps. Now, I don't know if you're supposed to glue it here or not, but I think you can just kind of wrap the crap out of it. So now I'm going to head to the front because now I need to kind of create the body of this particular gurgler. And I want to use the foam, little foam strip, as kind of building up on the hook so I don't have to use so much purple string. And again, if you guys have been fly tying for a long time, I am open to tons of advice in the comments. So I want you to feel free to give me plenty of advice as we're moving along here. So I'm going to start again from the front, now working back as I'm putting as much pressure on this as I possibly can as I build the body of this foam onto the shank of the hook. So now I've got pretty much everything ready to go, right? All towards the back of the hook. So now I'm going to wrap. I'm going to try to kind of guess. First, I'm going to guess how much I'm going to need. I think that's probably more than I need, but you don't want to run out, right? So I cut a longer piece, even though there might be some waste. And I'm just going to do my best here to turn this around the shank of the hook and over the foam that I just wrapped over it, making nice, even, you know, as even as I can wraps. And I'm not putting much pressure on there. And now one thing I did learn is that I don't want to get too close to the eye of the hook because, you know, pretty soon you start running out of room to wrap thread if you don't have enough metal from the hook exposed. So I got in a little bit of trouble later, but, you know, I think I was able to correct it anyway. So now I'm kind of tying off the top portion. I'm going to fold over the foam piece here, and again, as tight as I can, right, without breaking the thread, because I think the worst thing you can do is break the thread. I'm going to tie a few wraps around the front of that foam piece that I just folded over. I think I'm going to I'll probably go 6 times around that thing, trying to get it as tight as I possibly can. Now I'm going to cut probably a 1/4 inch. Oh wait, no, sorry. First I'm going to cut that little piece of purple off there to make sure that I'm good. So it looks like now I'm cutting off a piece of a little extra thread that I had dangling there. Now I want this little piece in the front to kind of lip up a little bit, and this is where I didn't really have a ton of room. So I tried to wrap a couple threads on the other side of this foam piece just to kind of help lift it up a little bit. But again, I didn't have a ton of room. Don't know how to use the whip finish tool, so I'm just going to use a couple of granny knots, I think they're called, right? Just kind of do this a few times to make sure the thread has got somewhat of a knot in it before I put some head cement in it. But I even YouTubed on how to use the whip finish. It doesn't look easy. So I'm just going to do a couple of I don't know what that's called, but just a couple of knots. I don't know what that knot's called, but I'm going to do a couple knots there. So now I'm going to cut about 1/4 inch of top there, because I'm doing this is because that little top acts as a rudder, and it, you know, gives a lot of action to this fly when you pull it through the water, and that's what you want. So use some head cement. Now I used way too much. As you can see, I just blobbed a whole big blob on there, and I'm like, oh, that's too much. So I'm going to try to scrape off a little bit. And I'm thinking, you know, this is it. This is all the head cement I use. I didn't put head cement anywhere else. I felt that this dollop that I put on there is going to be enough to keep things where they need to be. So now I'm going to grab my scissors, if I can get my fat fingers around the scissors, and cut off all the excess stuff. Oh, I did mess up here too. I should have just ran the scissors straight without actually snipping, because I gave it a little bit of kind of a haircut that I didn't want to. Somebody told me, and I had forgotten, that you just kind of hold the scissors open and push it across the tinsel, and it just kind of gives it a more uneven cut, which is what I think you want. But so mine's a little sharp cut there, but I didn't want to cut any more off, and I think that's probably going to be okay. Now next step, right, is to cut off the thread. Now I already tied my couple of you know, granny knots in there, so I hope with the amount of head cement that I have on there and the knots that's not going to come loose. And now, of course, with all this extra cement and the fact that, you know, my thread was kind of encroaching a little bit on the eye of the hook, I got my little tool here, and I'm going to cram it into the eye of the hook to make sure I've got a nice open area to tie my fly line through when it's time to tie this thing on. So that's why I ended up pushing this up there. It also kind of helped push that little rudder up a little bit, so that when the glue dries, you know, I have kind of a better rudder, so it'll wiggle around, you know, in the water more. So there it is, a gurgler, my first gurgler. Pretty excited about that, and let's hope it catches a fish. So thanks for tuning in the first episode of Hack Job Fly Tying. All right, everybody, until the next time, fish on. There we go. This is larger. Shit. Oh, it's a big fish. Oh, geez, Kobe, this is a really large fish. Might need an assist. Can you get him? Can you get him? Oh yeah! Holy crap!
Nice.
Oh my god, dude. Holy crap! He was hooked in the mouth. Just a very large fish. Oh my god, dude. I'm shaking. This thing's huge.